So the Americans start looking at these sparsely populated lands and see the potential for agriculture and mining, and that's going to figure into the manifest destiny sentiment that these lands ought to just become U.S. territory, that the Americans would use the land better than the Mexicans were using it, and not only that, they were ordained by divine providence to do so. So I talk about Texas for a moment and these terms here. So the Tejanos in Texas are the Mexicans living in Texas. The Texians are the white Americans who have migrated there, bringing with them their black slaves. Then the Texans later, that's the U.S. state of Texas. So when we have the independent republic, we talk about Texians. When we have the state that becomes part of the United States, we talk about Texans. I saw a license plate the other day in town that said Texian. I assume that's kind of an old Republican Texan living in town here. By 1823, there were 3,000 Americans in Texas. And the next year, the new Mexican government started encouraging American colonization. They thought that was the best way to bring in manufactured goods. There was virtually very little governmental or trade connection with Mexico City. They gave out generous land grants to men called impresarios. In 1826, one of those impresarios led a revolt against Mexican rule, and the Tejanos and Stephen Austin, an impresario, led the fight against the rebel and put down the revolt. But what happened was American allegiance of those Texians started to wane over the 1820s and in the 1830s, especially after Mexico closed the border to immigration and also outlawed slavery and forbade the further introduction of slaves. But by 1834, the number of Americans living in Texas had doubled anyway.